context is a really interesting word, right? Which is like, it's a bit of a privilege to be at the top of a company because you have all of the context. I remember, I think it was one of the co-founders at Monzo used to say this, is like, context is a privilege, right?
Yeah.
You should recognize that, which is like when you go into a conversation, you're like, I can't believe Josh made that decision. You're like, I wouldn't have made that decision. But it's like, I wouldn't have made the decision because I know that this team here and this team here are doing X, Y, and Z and all those sorts of things. And so that is something where I think it's really, really important to have that top down. So if I look at our product planning process, for example, we spent, as a founding team and one of our investors who's like, honestly great, super hands-on, sort of knows the space, spent an entire day thinking about, big swings, right? And this is where we get to sort of do the lofty, I'm a founder and I'm unshackled by the realities of people and constraints and all that sort of stuff. Like, what would we build? What could we build? What would be great for the market? All of those sorts of things. And so we do that kind of process on a sort of regular thing. And that's the kind of tension, I think, that expands the mindset of the people in the company, which is like, hey, well, let's assume that you had millions more dollars to spend on people and all these sorts of things, and we can sort of think bigger a little bit. And then we take that, and then the product teams, they also have a bunch of context. They do a lot of work with our sales teams and GTM teams, and so they have context of like, well, this customer has this thing that they desperately need. We have this prospect that will sign if we build this thing, and we also have our own great ideas because we have the context of being closer to this domain than you are as founders. And so I think that you get this like healthy then collision in the middle. And so that's broadly where we were at today. So this week I've spent a bunch of session time with our product managers being like, here is my thoughts from sort of top down. I want you to take that away and come back with the kind of, here is our rough stack rank of what we think, factoring in all these things that we should do.